you're wasting the Elder Guardian's time at that point. The
Peacekeeper,
report will be
Peacekeeper.
Sorry, I'm thinking so. I work on all of my.com's products, so Peacekeepers. So in terms of escalating, this is like I'm talking about like the more heinous, like really serious stuff that
sort of the ones where they're persistent or they're being particularly vile in the comments they're making, or anything which stands out above the general toxicity, then pass it on to the peacekeepers. Believe most of the forum moderators have got access to similar reporting tools.
Me.
Yes, you Spitfire. So again, pass it on, and we'll certainly try and we will pass it on to the people that need to see it. And if we agree with you that it's particularly bad, then we will maybe try and sort of flag somebody down, see if it can be looked at.
Yeah, and so again, guys, don't abuse the escalation. I mean, if you cry wolf every time, then this process, it just won't work, right? So if you say someone said "fuck you" to me, and the peacekeeper was going to be, all they're going to say is report it, right? That's not. But if someone's like really really vile, that's when you kind of want to approach them. The same thing with like team killings and other such, griefing in game, stuff like that. Also encourage you to use the reporting tool. We take action, or we review, investigate, and take action against every case. Sometimes, the action is not what you think. They're not going to be banned, and it may not be an immediate chat mute or anything like that. But just rest assured that there is action taken against every single one.
Well, I was going to say another thing. I mean, I've got to be careful to some degree what I say here, but another thing is also don't be afraid to report somebody just because it seems petty. It's not an all or nothing response. The teams that do deal with it, they've got a gradated response depending on severity, frequency. I mean, frequency is the key one here. If somebody's doing little things very often, then that needs to be picked up on as much as somebody saying something major as a one-off. And by reporting the little ones, it helps the team build up a pattern of what this person's doing and helps them to respond in a more appropriate manner.
No, that's a good point. I mean, if someone's repeatedly toxic, but it's not 10 FUs is if they're going to be repeating it, that's action that we need to take. Now, going back to Will's suggestion about the dead man tell no tales, definitely a good one, and will be passed along to the team. And I don't know if that will result in a change or not, but appreciate the suggestion nonetheless.
But you not need of the after death pinging help for your team, where only you are dead people and you see where the enemy is going. The map that has to be stopped. Yes, I think. Maybe you can don't chat after your death, but your ping ability main.
Well, what you tend to find then is they just repeatedly ping the map over and over again, just so that the
spamming is other thing, but when you have 3 versus 4 and you know that the enemy's eye phase other side of front is flanking you from your team, pinging the enemy, I think pinging your team that he's coming, it can help for your win after your death.
I disagree with that one, man. Like, if you get destroyed in game, like, you should not be able to communicate with the players that are still in game, right? Because if the opposing team pulls off like a really good flank maneuver, and you got taken out and they're coming up behind your teammates, I mean, you shouldn't be able to warn them, right? Because you've been taken out, and if you're warning them post habeas corpus, right, you're dead, then I mean you're still influencing the game even though you're dead. And so I mean that should be the punishment, is you're dead, you're out of the match, you're done.
Okay, but because if you say that you can't ping the map, the alliances have some advertise because they use maybe TeamSpeak, and he can say his alliance that he's come behind you, and but the other...
that's the point I was thinking about. It means that platoons and people in TeamSpeak then effectively have an advantage
Yeah.
in that they can communicate over TeamSpeak, Discord, or whatever they're using to say, guys, I've just been taken out. You've got at least 2 main battle tanks coming down this flank unopposed now.
Well, yeah, but isn't that an advantage in like every game ever made? It isn't exclusive to Armoured Warfare.
But the difference is by banning people from typing it in chat, that means that anybody, it gives platoons a distinct advantage, and it also means you can't, as a random player, you can't tell anybody that this is happening, but somebody in a platoon can. So then got that sort of.
I really think that's a moot point. I mean, the thing is if you've got another opposing team coming up on you and they flanked you and they're coming up behind you, and they kill you, I mean, 9 times out of the 10 you're going to spot them when they kill you, right? Which means that when you spot them, they become active on the minimap and everybody else in your team can see that coming, right? So you're not really getting any sort of distinctive advantage. Moreover, I mean, to the point where anybody, I mean, I'm not advocating this and I'm not saying this is the right way to do. I mean, this is obviously a topic that would require some debate in terms of like what is acceptable and what's not. And the bottom line is we can't stop people from using TeamSpeak. I don't advocate that it's okay to do that, but at the same time, we're not going to make it a punishable offense just because, I mean, one, we will never be able to prove it. Two, if you've got a platoon, I mean, one, you're already got the advantage because you're doing teamwork. And so that kind of encourages everybody else. If you've got friends, platoon up with them and encourage teamwork, right? So, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no definitive right or wrong answer here. There's points to both sides that are pros and cons. In terms of muting people once they're dead, clearly some people are for, some people are against. Once the suggestion is passed on the team, it's a discussion point that they need to have, and obviously, if there's feedback to be had, we can reach out to the community for further feedback on that. What do you think? What does the majority of the community think and whatnot? How would this affect gameplay, etc.? And so that's something that it's definitely a topic that should be discussed more. And I really don't want to get bogged down in this conversation here in this Italian chat. I mean, I'm sure that I only have another 5 or 10 minutes, and I'd like to answer a few more questions before I have to log off.
All right, fair point.
Just a few questions. That why do you want that deaf people stay in the game where they're playing? They can't help your team, or why you let the people stay in the game after the death?
This goes right back.
Just only this question, because after this you can answer this question. You can know that they can ping, they can chat, or something like this. But this little question you need to answer, and you can what they can do after death.
Well, I mean, from my perspective,
guys, sorry guys, let me speak here. So again, I want to reiterate what exactly I just said. So I said that there was no right or wrong answer in terms of what we should do in terms of once a player dies, should they be able to chat? Should they not be able to chat? Should they be able to ping the map? Should they be able to spot people? Should they go into free roam? I don't know. I don't have the right answer.
I don't want to answer just the question. Need to your developers want to answer this question. I don't want to right now. It's a theoretical question only. But after this, we can discuss, I guess, again.
Yeah, I think this one's best taken to the forums.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's I kind of want to move on from this topic so I can answer a few more questions. So I got 5 minutes left, guys. So I'd like to answer a few more questions before I have to log off.
I have one. My teammate asked if the artilleries were buffed in a way that they do more module damages, because he experienced it and he asked if it's true or not in the new patch.
I haven't seen any changes to the amount of damage output that artillery does. Whether that is one of the things that was just not included in the patch notes or whether it was something. So to my knowledge, nothing has changed in terms of how much damage hitting someone with an artillery shell will will do. I know that right now there is a big concern in the community is when we changed from reload speed to rate of fire, it hit the artillery particularly hard, in which case their damage output per minute was lowered, and that's something that the dev team is aware of and something that we're going to address soon.
Can I just quickly say that's something that needed to be addressed in the first place, because the RT in this game is way too overpowered.
Yeah, I mean, the art is funny.
Drew?
Connected.
User left your channel.
Can you mute this guy?
I've muted him already.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What the?
the second time he's done that.
He's the same guy like before.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was talking about artillery. So artillery is a really interesting subject, man. It's a subject of extremes, in which case, I mean, we've gotten just a ridiculous amount of feedback in terms of artillery from the community, and some people are really happy with the implementation of it. Some people absolutely hate it. Some people feel that, you know, the artillery need, in terms of like the damage it does, mobility, viewing the actual mechanics of how you play artillery needs to be addressed. You know, reload time. It's a topic of extremes, and you know, like right now, it's still a big subject within the dev team and the publisher in terms of how artillery is going to, you know, how it works in the game, how it, you know, may work going forward. I mean, the good thing to remember is that Armored Warfare is still an open beta, so there still is a potential, and I know it's been an open beta since October, but there's still a potential for more drastic changes to come to the game. And maybe, you know, is artillery going to be part of a drastic change? Do we need to address it? I mean, clearly there are things that need to happen to continue to improve it. I know that, I mean, I think that most of us can agree